Now, if Congress allows this meat cleaver approach to take place, it will jeopardize our military readiness. It will eviscerate job-creating investments in education and energy and medical research. It won't consider whether we're cutting some bloated program that has outlived its usefulness or a vital service that Americans depend on every single day. It doesn't make those distinctions. Emergency responders, like the ones who are here today, their ability to help communities respond to and recover from disasters will be degraded.
To hear President Obama and some of the more pork-happy members of Congress put it, sequestration is the Mayan end-of-the-world prophecy come to life. These cuts are going to destroy jobs, make our lives miserable, and possibly kill us all.
Border Patrol agents will see their hours reduced. FBI agents will be furloughed. Federal prosecutors will have to close cases and let criminals go. Air traffic controllers and airport security will see cutbacks, which means more delays at airports across the country.
See, these asshats believe that the government should be the catalyst for your happiness and eventual demise. In some ways, they are. And, sad to say, most Americans continue to sit on their hands and do nothing while the government tries to dominate every aspect of your life. These civil servants, these people that are on our payroll, they are winning because they have a public that cares more about Kim Kardashian's ass than the future for our children. And they have a media that is in lockstep on the important issues. Sure, they get their panties in a bunch when they can't watch the president tee one up with Tiger Woods, but on the big issues, the important issues that determine whether this country can survive another 30 years, that is where they are in lockstep with this president, like the little propagandists that they are. Back to sequestration. First, let's sort through the crap and look at what it is and what it isn't. Back in August of 2011, Congress passed and Obama signed the Budget Control Act. This was a kick-the-can-down-the-road approach by cowards in both the administration and Congress who didn't want to make the tough choices. So what did they choose that is so damn life-threatening today? Well, they agreed to $1.2 trillion in cuts beginning this year and ending in 2021, evenly divided over a 9-year period. Oh wait, did you hear me? $1.2 trillion in cuts over a 9-year period, evenly divided. That means that for this year there will be a total of $109 billion in cuts made. $109 billion when the government is spending north of $3.5 trillion. I'm no math major, but we're looking at trimming about 3% across the board, and the president wants you to believe it's Armageddon. Now when you say, oh hell, 3%, that's nothing. They say that isn't true because the cuts to Medicaid, defense, etc. are higher. Then they use those numbers, 6%, 9%, to claim that all the cuts are draconian. It's clever, but still bullshit. If Congress wants to build a new sub or an air base in the middle of Africa, they will hide the money in the Department of Interior's budget if need be. These people are masters of corruption, which requires that they also be masters of deception. Back to the president and his claims that you and your family will suffer because of this impending doom. What could possibly happen? Well, maybe you will wait for hours on end to get on a flight because TSA is going to have to assassinate half its workforce or fire them, something like that. Maybe first responders are going to drive past your house when it's on fire because they will be on their way to their second job at McDonald's because every single one of them will have to take an extra day off a week. Retired first responders will be encouraged to die as soon as possible. Maybe newborns will be abandoned at bus stations in record numbers because mothers will not be able to get government assistance because only 97% of the funding will be there. So if we use government logic, we can estimate that 97% of newborns will fall into this category. See, the government inflates horror and pain to suit their agenda. Clinton was pretty good at this. Reagan and FDR were very good. Now Obama, he's the Jedi master of fear-mongering. The man has this uncanny ability to lie on a daily basis and not be called out on it. Again, the media. They line up and service the White House one by one. Even Fox News, the liberals' media villain deluxe, goes along with playing up sequestration as a draconian event that will destroy lives. Now for a little truth. Sequestration is a joke. It is unfortunate that we cannot hold our elected officials accountable because Obama, Biden, Boehner, Pelosi, Reid, McConnell, all of them should be in jail for what they have done to this country. Bernie Madoff stole a lollipop from a candy store compared to what these people have done to our country. These cuts are a pimple on the ass of the debt and obligations of the United States government. People like Obama, Bush, Clinton really could care less about your kids. They have the money and the connections to make sure their kids will be fine. Your kids? Tough shit. Their power is more important than your family. So what is the solution? Simple. Cut more. Cutting more will actually drive the economy closer to collapse. Quit pretending that we have a real currency. The Chinese know the end is near. So do the Germans and the Russians. Even India is hoarding gold, knowing that the dollar can only crash. This is why this group is called Expedite the Financial Collapse. We want to see the collapse during our lifetime. We do not want our children to be stuck with the consequences of the transition of the United States into a third world nation. Do you think that is a bit of fear-mongering on my part? The same fear-mongering that I am accusing the President and the Congress of? Of course it is. You, the viewer, need to decide who is right. Is the government right that they need to keep spending money that they don't have and eventually pass the bill onto your kids? Or are we right in believing that the bleeding ends now and responsible people need to be put in charge? As it stands now, there is no doubt that my kids or my grandkids will face the end of the United States as I knew it and as my parents knew it. We need to encourage more cuts. We need heroes in politics that can communicate the sacrifices required. We need to help those who truly need help, but we also need to put an end to generational welfare and quit supporting able-bodied parasites who choose to take advantage of government programs. If the cuts don't come and the heroes never materialize, we need to identify who is with us and who is against us. We need to take nonviolent action to make sure those in power who abuse, steal, and lie to hold on to power lose that power and are prosecuted for their crimes. Don't just call your member of Congress or the White House. Call them out. Call them liars and frauds and crooks. Embarrass them, make them uncomfortable, humiliate them. Remind them that they are our servants. Remind the media that they are employed only because we patronize their advertisers. They all work for us, even the guy in the White House who thinks he's Caesar. Get involved and do something. Tune out this nonsense about sequestration. It is a start, but it should be so much more regardless of who feels the pain.